Marion Mahony Griffin, presented by Hannah Crawford. Marion was born in Chicago in February of 1871 to a journalist and a schoolteacher. Following the Great Chicago Fire in October of '71, her family moved to Winnetka. This place greatly influenced her love of nature due to its great landscape of beaches and large trees. When she was just 11 years old, her father died, and her mother stepped up to support the family by becoming a school principal. Her mother also joined an influential women's club and traveled with other female activists who rallied for voting rights and educational and labor reforms. This surrounded Marion with strong women, even leading into college. At MIT, she was supported by Mary Wilmarth and Anna Ikes, who founded her education and helped her become the second woman to graduate from MIT with an architecture degree. While working at Steinway Hall, she was noticed by Frank Lloyd Wright, who hired her as his first employee, a bold move at the time. Known at the studio as a prominent character, Marion made an impression on those around her. It was said that her humor promised amusement for her fellow designers. While working on and off for Wright, she helped him produce the drawings that he became known for. In 1895, she joined the Oak Park studio, known for its prairie style of design. Though Wright often used her renderings and designs in his work, it was well known to the studio that all credit, no matter where it originated, was given to Wright. He would even go so far as to use her design to win a competition against Walter over building a house. During her time at the studio, however, she befriended Frank's wife, Catherine, and met her future spouse, Walter Griffin. When Wright left the office to go to Europe, the relationship between the two designers began to go downhill. This was because Wright left the practice with radio silence on his end, and because of the confirmation of his break-off with Catherine. But there was good amongst the bad, as after Frank's departure, Marion could design more freely and connect to Walter, who had also had gripes with the departed architect. Marion pursued Walter, though 5 years his senior and in her 40s, and they were married in 1911. She spent her relationship devoted to him and was happy to support his career. Unlike her female counterparts, though, she was still a prominent figure in design even during her marriage. Being the more boisterous of the two, Marion helped Walter push through the design scene and win a competition to design Canberra, the new capital of Australia, which opened both of them to a new market and new fame in the US. In 1914, the two left for Australia to work on the new project. While in Australia, her work was overshadowed by her husband's, but she was eventually able to find a true community. In turn, the place kept her memory much better than her hometown. Walter moved to India to work on a university library, and Marion followed him soon after in the year 1936. While in India, she oversaw many projects, but her partnership with Walter only lasted for another year, because he died suddenly in 1937 from peritonitis. She moved back officially to Chicago in 1939 after playing a major role in spreading the prairie style to India and Australia. She spent the end of her days with her sister and family. One of her last works was a mural she painted at the elementary school her sister taught at. During the last years of her life, she wrote a memoir while fighting against dementia. She died in 1961 with only a small plaque in her memory by her other relatives. While she was alive, Marion worked on many different architectural projects and designs, most of which were done under other men. However, she was greatly praised by her peers for her beautiful style of drawing. Her style of art was heavily influenced by the Japanese ukiyo-e artwork and the Japanese culture, which she saw as an inspiring example of unity with nature. Marion's style became popular as a new way of presenting architecture and was used by many other designers at the time. One of her best-known private commissions was the All Souls Church in Evanston, Illinois in 1903. While her initial design for the building was rejected for not being Gothic enough, she was able to retain her original concept for the interior. The focal point was the altar, which she raised and framed with a tall arch. She also used art glass skylights, which cast an unearthly light on the pastor and the hand-painted image of Christ on the back wall. Other works of hers included Henry Ford's estate in Michigan and various other residential projects that she worked on both independently and with others. Most of her work, however, was supporting the prominent men in her life. Some of this was done with pleasure, like for her husband, while others, like Frank Lloyd Wright, were less so. Overall, her influence in the design community was greater than even she herself gave credit for, and she deserves recognition for all that she has created.